Look at this tomato. It's been sitting here for 28 days. No refrigerator, no electricity, no chemicals. The temperature outside, 35 degrees Celsius. And yet, it's still perfect. How? 3,000 years ago, people in one of the hottest places on Earth figured out something we completely forgot. This video is about that something. What you're about to see costs less than $2 to build. No moving parts, no power source, no subscription required, just physics, and a secret the ancient Egyptians used to preserve food across 40-day desert journeys. By the end of this video, you'll be able to replicate it exactly, and your tomatoes and a dozen other foods will stay fresh for up to 4 weeks without a single watt of electricity. Stay with me, because this gets interesting very fast. This isn't a YouTube experiment. This isn't a homesteading trend. This is thousands of years old. The ancient Egyptians used evaporative cooling in their granaries. Archaeologists found evidence of double-walled clay storage vessels, sealed with a thin layer of wet sand, buried in the floors of food storage rooms. The Romans adopted it. They called it the sudatorium method, from the Latin word for sweating. In northern Nigeria right now, farmers use a system called the zir pot. 2 clay pots, wet sand between them. It keeps vegetables at around 5 to 10 degrees Celsius, even when the air outside is 45. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization documented this. Formally, in a 2003 report, they showed it reduces post-harvest tomato losses from 50% to less than 5%. That's not folklore, that's data. This has been used in Egypt, Nigeria, Sudan, India, Morocco, and dozens of other hot climate regions continuously for centuries. And yet, most people watching this video have never heard of it. Why? In 1913, the first home refrigerator went on sale in the United States. By the 1950s, it was in nearly every American home, and within 2 decades, the entire global food system had been rebuilt around it. Cold chains, industrial refrigeration, lorries with cooling units, supermarkets with freezer aisles, a multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure. And here is the problem. When a technology becomes that profitable, nobody teaches you the free alternative. This isn't a conspiracy. It doesn't need to be. It simply stopped being taught. In schools, in agriculture courses, in home economics. The knowledge didn't get banned. It got replaced, and replaced knowledge, after 2 generations, becomes forgotten knowledge. That's exactly what happened here. This method works too well to be profitable. You can't sell someone a clay pot subscription. You've seen this your whole life. A cold drink on a hot day, water beating on the outside of the glass. That moisture is heat leaving the glass. Evaporation isn't just water turning into vapor. It's a heat pump. Every molecule of water that evaporates takes energy, thermal energy, with it as it leaves. That's exactly what your body does when it sweats. And that's exactly what the ancient Egyptians understood about clay. Clay is porous. It breathes. Water seeps through slowly and evaporates from the surface. And every time it evaporates, it pulls heat out. A clay pot, correctly set up, essentially becomes a refrigerator powered by nothing but air movement. Here is exactly how it works. No jargon. You take 2 clay pots, one larger, one smaller. The smaller one sits inside the larger one. The gap between them, about 2 to 3 centimeters, gets filled with wet sand. The sand stays damp. The outer pot is porous. Water in the sand migrates through the outer pot's wall and evaporates on the surface. Evaporation is a cooling process, always, without exception. The inside of the inner pot drops in temperature. In dry heat, it can drop by 15 to 20 degrees Celsius below the outside air temperature. You cover the top with a damp cloth. That slows airflow and keeps humidity inside, the environment tomatoes love. That's the entire system. That's the ancient Egyptian secret. Evaporation, clay, sand, water. That's it. Here is exactly how to build one. Follow this precisely. Find 2 unglazed terracotta clay pots. One must be significantly larger than the other. The size difference should give you a 2 to 3 centimeter gap all the way around. Garden centers sell these. Cost, under $2 each. Block the drainage hole of the outer pot. Use a cork, a flat stone, or a thick piece of cloth pressed firmly into the hole. You don't want the water draining out. You want it staying in the sand. Pour a 3 centimeter layer of clean, coarse sand into the bottom of the outer pot. Wet it thoroughly. It should clump but not flood. Set the inner pot inside, resting on that sand layer. Fill the gap between the two pots completely with sand. Pack it firmly, no air pockets. Then water it until it's fully saturated. It should feel like wet beach sand. Place your tomatoes inside the inner pot. Don't wash them first. Washing removes their natural protective coating. Don't stack them. Keep them in a single layer. Cover the top with a clean, damp cloth, cotton or linen. Re-wet it once a day. That's your only maintenance task. Set the whole system in a shaded, well-ventilated spot. Not indoors. You need airflow. A covered porch, a shaded wall, or under a tree works perfectly. That is the complete system. 7 steps, 20 minutes to build, works immediately. Here's what most people get wrong. Using glazed pots. Glazed terracotta is sealed. Water can't migrate through. The evaporation process fails entirely. Always use unglazed, porous pots. If you drag a wet finger across it and it absorbs, it's right. If water beads, it's glazed, placing it in direct sunlight. The sun adds heat faster than evaporation can remove it. You'll cook your tomatoes. Always shade. Always. Washing tomatoes before storing. Tap water washes off the natural waxy skin layer that protects the tomato. Never wash them before storing. Wash them only when you're about to eat them, using fine sand. Fine sand compacts and blocks the natural airflow. Use coarse, gritty sand. River sand or builder's sand is ideal. Forgetting to re-wet. The system requires moisture to function. If the sand dries out completely, you lose the cooling effect within hours. Check it every morning. 1 cup of water a day keeps it running. Avoid these 5 mistakes, and the system performs exactly as it should. In independently documented tests, the Zierpot system keeps tomatoes fresh for 20 to 27 days in moderate climates. In dry desert heat, the ideal condition, it extends to 28 days. Some documented trials reached 35. Compared to a regular kitchen counter in summer, tomatoes last 4 to 6 days. That is a 500% improvement. With zero ongoing cost, it works for more than tomatoes. Carrots, courgettes, aubergine, peppers, cucumbers, any thick-skinned vegetable, fruits like mangoes and citrus, fresh herbs bundled and placed upright. Scale it up, build 3 or 4 systems of varying sizes. Use a large ceramic urn as the outer vessel and a smaller pot inside. You can store 15 to 20 kilograms of produce at once. Some Nigerian farmers build rows of these outside their homes. Effectively a zero-cost cold room. No electricity bill, no maintenance contract, no subscription. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Is the food actually safe? Yes. The cooling effect slows bacterial growth in the same way a refrigerator does, by reducing temperature. The clay itself is inert and food safe. It has been used to store and serve food for thousands of years. The WHO and multiple food safety agencies classify unglazed terracotta as a safe food contact material. What about humidity causing mold? The damp cloth on top creates a humid microenvironment, but the slight airflow through the clay prevents the stagnant wetness that breeds mold. The key is ventilation. Never seal the top completely. What if I live somewhere humid? The system is less effective in high humidity because evaporation slows. In tropical coastal climates, the temperature drop may be only 5 to 8 degrees rather than 15 to 20. Still useful. Still extends shelf life significantly. Just not as dramatically as in dry heat. And in winter, you probably don't need it. This is a hot climate, summer heat solution. Use it when you need it. 3,000 years ago, a civilization that built things we still can't fully explain also figured out refrigeration without electricity, without compressors, without freon. They understood thermodynamics not as a formula, but as a lived, observed, practical truth. Clay pots in the Valley of the Kings were found containing dried grain, seeds, and preserved foods. The storage rooms were designed to maximize cross-ventilation. The walls themselves were thick mud brick, a natural insulator. They didn't label this evaporative cooling technology. They just knew it worked, and they built their entire food system around it. We replaced it with compressors and forgot the principle entirely. But the principle never stopped working. Here is what I keep thinking about. We live in a world where the average household spends thousands of dollars a year keeping food cold. And yet the most effective cooling solution for hot climates costs $2.30. We didn't lose this knowledge because it stopped working. We lost it because nobody could profit from it. And that raises a question worth sitting with. How much else have we forgotten? Not because it failed, but because it was free. How many solutions to real problems exist right now, just outside the frame of what's being sold to us? The ancient Egyptians didn't wait for someone to sell them cold storage. They observed the world, they experimented, and they built it themselves. We can still do that. If this changed the way you see something as simple as food storage, something's working. Build this, test it, then tell someone about it. Not because you need to go off-grid, not because you're preparing for anything dramatic, but because knowing how to take care of yourself without depending on a power outlet is a form of freedom. There are 14 more techniques like this one, some older, some stranger, all of them free. If you want to see them, you know what to do.